Hi, everyone. Welcome to everyone who's here in this room in Brooklyn, and welcome to everyone also on the live stream. Hopefully this is coming through okay. I can see myself on YouTube, so I think it is. Just in this room, raise your hands if you've been to a Svelte Society meeting before. Okay, a few returners. Raise your hand if you haven't been to a Svelte Society meeting before. All right, raise your hand if you didn't raise your hand. Okay, good. So the seed that would eventually grow into Svelte.js was planted in my head in a bar from here called 61 Local, where for a few years, every month, the great and good of the New York JavaScript scene would gather for a meetup called Brooklyn.js. And in a time when meetups were generally fluorescent lit affairs with catered stale pizza, Brooklyn.js showed us the value of authentic community. We'd gather once a month and we would share our excitement about the fun and interesting and quirky aspects of programming. And so I'm thrilled that we're able to gather here in person and continue some of that legacy. Of course, this is not just an in-person event, this is also a global conference. We have an international speaker list, and we have virtual attendees from every corner of the globe. So if you're one of those virtual attendees and you haven't already, then I encourage you to join the Discord and hop in the Svelte Summit channel and be part of that community. So this month is the 5th birthday of Svelte, and I felt like it's a good opportunity to take a moment to reflect on some of the milestones along that journey. All began at the end of November, 30th of...
There's a message from Gary saying if we can increase the volume a little bit.
I'm going to increase the volume. Can I just like stand like this? Would that help? Oh, yeah. Is this better?
No, that's the microphone volume. I'm upping the gain here. Should you speak normally, like from this distance?
Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully that would be better, but it will take him a while to.
Is the laptop's sound off?
Sorry?
Bear with us. This is the first time we've done this.
Yeah, this is probably with hybrid events.
Yeah, it's supposed to be off though. I'm not playing it from my laptop.
His laptop. Is that connected to sound or anything?
There's no sound on here.
Okay.
Yeah, no, but the microphone in.
Oh,
that's
okay.
Where, yeah, that's what we're doing. Okay. Is he hearing absolutely nothing?
He's saying it's potato. That's how he described his potato. But he's saying maybe speak a little bit slower as well, because
Diction.
it's a log.
Diction.
Sorry about that.
Okay, it probably doesn't help that I have 3 microphones connected to me and there's a lot of feedback here. Okay, we'll keep going. So 30th of November 2016, we announced to the world on Hacker News, which meant that 30th of November of 2016 was the first time we got some Hacker News comments. And it's always a nice little reminder that it's the easiest thing in the world to be a naysayer, but you have to weigh up the immediate dopamine rush with the chance that someone is going to screenshot your comment and use it 5 years later to make fun of you. July 2017, the first talk about Svelte was given at Brooklyn.js down the road. At the end of 2017, we launched Sapper, which was a full-stack framework inspired by Next. It was our version of the ideal application framework built using Svelte, and it was the forerunner for today's Svelte kit. In April 2018, we launched Svelte 2. In April 2019, we launched Svelte 3, which was a ground-up rethink of how user interface frameworks should be designed. And then in October of 2019, we saw the launch of Svelte Society with simultaneous meetups in London, organized by Anthony, and New York, organized by Svelte. And then the following April, we had the first ever global virtual conference, known now as Svelte Summit. In July of that year, a brilliant team led by Auto on the TypeScript team got TypeScript into Svelte. That was one of our most requested features. At the very beginning of 2021, we got the results of the State of JavaScript survey, and Svelte was crowned the framework with the highest levels of satisfaction. A few months later, the Stack Overflow Developer Survey crowned us the most loved framework. October 2021, last month, was the launch of Svelte Sirens, which is a group for people in the community who are women or non-binary. Brittany is here. Say hello, Brittany. She'll be able to answer any questions that you have about that. I think you're going to hear some more about Svelte Sirens later in the conference. Also, last month, we had the Svelte Ambassadors Program. This is a way that we can lift up and support some of the most valuable and beloved members of the community. And then this month, I got a new job. I work at Vercel now, and Svelte got its first full-time maintainer. I'm so happy about, like, it's a huge move for me personally, obviously, but it's also, I think, a big deal for the Svelte community. It means we can move faster and dream bigger, and I'm excited to meet some of my new co-workers today. Thank you for flying in. Me joining Vercel meant that we got some more Hacker News comments. Now look at the shape of this curve. So at the beginning of this year, we had 100,000 weekly downloads. Now we have 200,000 weekly downloads. If we continue that trajectory, then sometime in 2037, every person on planet Earth will be downloading Svelte once a week. Numbers don't lie. Of course, adoption is not a meaningful metric by itself. As an open source maintainer, you should never strive for adoption. But to the extent that this curve means that more people are discovering a way to build the web that is more fun and more accessible and more productive, then this trajectory brings me joy. I want to make some acknowledgements, and I have a list so that I don't forget anyone. That's while I have the microphone. I want to thank Swix, first of all, who made this watch party happen, and Swix, an absolute force of nature in the Svelte community. He's been a great for me and a great friend to Svelte, and we're very privileged. Thank you. I also want to shout out to Swix's employer, Temporal, which is sponsoring this event, the watch party. You should all take the opportunity to bombard Swix with questions about it. In addition to supporting Svelte by paying me to work on it, Vercel is also making today possible both by sponsoring this watch party and sponsoring the summit itself. So thank you for that. Thank you to all the other sponsors of the summit, names you can see on the website. Conferences like these are an absolute ton of work, and Kevin and the rest of the organizers deserve our deep gratitude for today. Of course, conferences are only as good as their speakers. We have some fantastic speakers lined up. You folks are the best. Everything that I've talked about today is only possible because of the hard work of many, many people who have contributed to the project in some way, from the core team, I love you all, I think of you as wonderful friends, to people who have contributed in myriad other ways. Thank you. And last of all, you and you. Svelte Society has 12,000 members and 25 chapters all around the world: Brazil, India, Russia, China, France, the Philippines, many other places. Today is your day, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you. Back to Kev.